on, work, 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 work. Am I back on? Hello? Yes and no. Why am I not back on YouTube? Okay, and it says it's my birthday. That's nice. Okay. Yep. I'll figure out what's going on with that someday. I didn't used to do this. So are you still there? Hello? I'm sorry. I need to tell YouTube it's not my birthday. And put that in here. Hurt to milk. And save. Hello, hello? Is anyone here? Are we good? Testing, testing. Okay. Uh, hello? John? Are you here? Mm. Blah, blah, blah. Stupid internet. It's rebelling against me because it knows that I'm talking about this. I'm kidding. Okay, I don't know if John is still here or not, but I guess I'll go ahead and try to discuss things. Yeah, hopefully. Okay, if they can't get help in person, it's a lot of how we learn norms and gain perspectives. Software, there's your way around. Okay, so I think we're here. So much of our development as rational beings is having a diverse base of information to reference to. That's fair. The internet is that, algorithms and echo chambers aside, this would definitely cut their connection to the current affairs in the world. I do not believe so. They honestly, they should be probably watching the news. And I know every kid's idea of fun, but I think that watching the news and hearing about things, talking about things with their parents and stuff, um, I think they're still going to be able to discuss current affairs, but with less of the risk involved, you know? And you're right about the internet having its echo chambers and its algorithm problems. Uh, I do feel like kids would still be able to develop rationality, um, be around a diverse base of information. They should be trying to socialize a bit, and like I said, watching the news ideally. I watched the news, but I was a weird kid. Um, Definitely cut their connection to current affairs in the world. Youth culture is increasingly becoming mainstream in tangible ways. So it follows from my perspective that we need higher participation rates in the popular discourse. Are you saying that hmm, youth culture is increasingly becoming mainstream in tangible ways? I don't quite understand what you're saying about youth culture. Uh, I think that there's a bunch of different cultures. Honestly, I think for one of them, like I was showing in the video, there's a little bit of a culture around sharing harmful content between minors. There's minors that groom other minors accidentally because they are groomed, they are exposed to inappropriate material, and they share it. So I think that's much more of a concern than that the kids might not be able to understand as much about what's going on in the news and the current affairs of the world. I think that if they're interested in finding out about what's going on in the world, there are still ways to do that that are much safer. Also, I really hope you're still here. I'm sorry that my internet just broke. I thought I was fixing it, and instead, I was killing it. Isn't that just how it goes, though? Uh-oh. What's this? Um, okay, I am really thinking that you might not be here anymore, so I think what I'm going to do in the meantime is continue where we left off. Feel free to talk whenever you're able to. Yeah, let's go do this.
So even then, the point still stands that a man got arrested for fictional content, and that is honestly unacceptable. But I'm getting a little bit off topic. The point of the matter is that this man was arrested for anime images, and what this technically
Mm-hmm.
does is now the box, Pandora's box, has been opened. It is officially open now. There is no going back. What this Pandora's box is now doing is that this brings into question Crunchyroll. This brings
Mm.
into question Sony. This brings into question all gotcha games, gaming. It brings
Not
into
to
question
mention
just manga.
anybody doing any
Fictional
kind
content
of
in general now
creative
is now
anything.
under the
Yeah,
eye of
exactly.
scrutiny to where you can be arrested in UK, Ireland, and EU if you have anime content on your phone. And
Mm-hmm.
because, from what we can find out, it is
Actually, let me
because
turn this
of
down
brown
just a little bit,
dust
just in
why
case.
he was arrested. This showcases that the vagueness of this is so damaging. Where is the line? Because you have kids, like most of the cast of like Naruto is kids. Most anime actually, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
oh oh my goodness, like this is going to affect gaming. Like it will 100% affect gaming as well. It's going to affect live action movies or regular movies, like
And
animated
for
movies, not anime, but
I do want to say for anybody that thinks that this should be illegal, one, just because we think something is weird or uncomfortable should not make it illegal. It should be if it's harmful that it's illegal. So we shouldn't have our opinions determine that. Two, by all means, if you can name an actual victim then we can talk. We can talk about it being illegal. But the victim of the child abuse here, hold on, am I even doing that right? Yeah, there. Child abuse here is this 2D drawing that is not a citizen of any country because she doesn't exist. She doesn't have feelings. She doesn't, she's not real.
But like Disney movies.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. No. The real victim here, and I know a bunch of people are gonna get mad. The real victim here is this guy that's that was arrested because of fiction. Fiction that he didn't even make. That was popular. That there was an actual convention about. And he got arrested. He's the real victim here. There was no crime here except for doing this. Arresting him for no good reason. For
And stuff, it can affect that.
not hurting anybody.
This is crazy. Like, this is actually crazy that this has happened. Pandora's box is officially open, and I don't think it's going to close now. And you know what really
I mean, we better
pisses
make it
me off
close.
about this whole situation right now? It's the fact that they had the audacity to do this. Read that final two words of what I highlighted.
This is absolutely shameful. This is so inconsiderate, like I said, of actual children that are suffering or that have suffered. This is so wrong.
Right there. Anime images. Anime images. They are straight up. They are straight up saying that.
Because when you're saying things like this, when you're doing things like this, you're putting real people who were really hurt on the same level as drawings. You're saying, yeah, that's equal.
Anime images is the same as a living, breathing person. That's what they're saying.
That's exactly what they're saying.
But even if we disregard this point and don't even talk about that, what makes me so infuriated about this?
By the way, I'm gonna be super duper professional streamer and heat up some food. I'm gonna have my mic muted unless I wanna chime in with something, but the video is gonna keep going, and yeah, noodles. Okay, so hold on.
This government does not give a absolute.
Actually, you know what? I'm not muting. I'm just gonna take you guys with me.
Kids and people. They don't care. We have seen the rampant corruption in this last month. It is astronomically insane. To the invasion of your privacy, them trying to shut down Wikipedia, to them forcing multiple companies to censor themselves or face fines, to having people arrested for memes, having people labeled as terrorists for even wanting to talk about immigration or illegal immigration. You're wanting to put black boxes in people's vehicles to listen in on what they're doing, where they're going at any given time.
That is creepy.
It is insane. And that's just a few things. There's so much. There's so much more. And you know, if you've been watching my channel for this last month, you know. It is insane. This is the same country that has silenced, like countries, clarification, same countries that have actively silenced people talking about violent games. People violently hurting people. Going
That's messed up.
Women and children and hurting them.
Oh, God.
These governments are silencing people that want to talk about this, that are upset with the rampancy of violence and crime and thievery, but
yeah, if they're so upset, then handle the real stuff.
Resources into arresting people for fictional content, and also arresting people for catcalling in like the UK.
Honestly, the citizens should be outraged that that's how their money is being used.
Man. Like, I just don't know how this keeps getting worse. I cannot believe we're at the point to where you can get arrested for anime images.
And
like, I did not expect 2025 to turn out like this.
And the cops should be absolutely outraged that their time is being wasted.
That Homeland Security also helped with this. I know
they could be helping real children.
Blame them because
they could be
just
saving people.
UK and Ireland authorities were telling them to do because they were on their soil.
Okay,
But
noodles have
it
been
bugs
acquired.
me that our government, our funds and stuff is going to stuff like this, but they refuse to release the Epstein list. It boggles
Yeah.
my mind and it infuriates me to no end
Oh yeah.
because ever since the public wanted to know who was responsible, like, the people on the Epstein list, all this crazy stuff has just happened. It just, I've talked about it. You cannot have 100 different things happen like this and just say it's a coincidence. You can't. You can't. You want to know my
Hmm.
prediction on what's going to happen now? Now that Pandora's box is open? Now that we got to this point? I predict, and I hope I'm wrong. This is one thing I hope I am entirely wrong, and I hope it does not happen because it's horrifying. It's a horrifying future that
Hmm.
I 100% hope does not happen. I want to be completely wrong when I say this. But, as history has showed us, in the history books itself, that obviously the UK and EU and stuff do not want you to read. They want to silence or censor. History has showed us when you push a certain way, people will push back even harder to the extreme. And a pendulum will swing very hard back the other direction. And what the government is currently doing is going to push a pendulum swing so hard, there will be a rise of a new dictator. A dictator like Hitler. I'm not even joking. I
Hmm.
legitimately think if this continues to happen and things are not put
That
back on the
is.
rails and
Oof.
actually some form of just peace doesn't happen, you will see a
Hmm.
rise of a new dictator. That might be just as bad or worse than Hitler. I'm not even joking. Because history has shown us when you try to oppress people or you do these crazy things, stuff like that typically happens. Times heat up, war happens, civil war happens. That's what will
Hmm.
happen. And you guys might think I'm just overreacting because it's just anime content. It's not just anime content that someone got arrested for. It's the
It's not a
fact that it's
problem until they're after
systematically so
yours.
much that's happened back to back in this last month that this showcases the overreach and the
It doesn't
how these
affect me,
governments, when
so
in
why
power
should
right
I
now, they don't
care
care
until it
about the
affects
populace.
me?
They're not listening. You have people making
Hmm.
petitions that get over like a million signatures, and the government literally says, "Nah, we don't care. We're not listening to you." The
Mm-hmm.
fact that you have a government
Mm-hmm.
actively working against the people and not caring about what the people have to say should alarm you. And I think, like I said, it's going to have a pendulum swing so freaking hard, it's going to be nightmare fuel. And I don't want to imagine
Hmm.
what will happen. I don't even want to begin to imagine how bad it's going to get. But it will, if something isn't
Mm-hmm.
done. I'm done.
I don't know how I
I just wanted to bring
feel,
this to
what I think
everybody's
about
attention.
his take on
I hope
that,
that this guy here,
but I
if
do
it
think
just,
that
I'm
we do have
getting
to
arrested
change
for anime
things.
images. I
Whether we're at
truly
risk
hope
for all that
he doesn't
happening
have
or
his life
not,
ruined, but
we have to
this
make
is
things better. We have to
2025,
change
and most
things.
likely his life is ruined. I'll leave it at that, though. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment for the algorithm. Chibi out.
Okay, so that's that bit. Oh, hey, Claudius. Hi. Um, yeah, so that was that video. Let's get to the next one.
Hello, guys and gals. Alex,
I'm
the
glad to finally get to
censorship
watch these with you
engineer
guys.
here, and today we're going to talk about probably some of the
No, no
worst things that are
subtitles.
happening in the gaming
Ugh.
industry. I've been cataloging and chronicling all the insane censorship
Hmm.
happening
Yeah,
in the
no.
gaming
Okay,
space.
whatever.
Everything from payment processors trying to stop Valve and itch.io from selling games that they deem
Water the
inappropriate on
zombie.
Steam
Hydrate
to
Zom
a
Zom.
bunch of
Okay, we'll both take a
hags
nice big
over in
drink.
Australia
I've got Dr.
called
Pepper.
Collective Shout who have done the most insane thing possible and have been
Hmm,
going
thank you.
around pressuring those exact payment processors
And I
to
definitely
then
need it for
remove
all the
those
talking I've
games
been doing.
from itch.io and Steam. But of course, things are in fact getting worse because not
Oh,
only
yeah,
do
they
we
are.
have those hags in Australia, now there is the entire United Kingdom, an actual government across the seas trying to dictate and tell you what game, content, and even now mods you can actually go ahead and add to your game itself. This,
Uh-huh.
I, look,
Single player freaking
it's really just
games.
reaching beyond everything I've ever seen, and the fact that right now we're going to literally expose that these people do not want to protect the kids. What they want is your direct information to not only
Exactly.
censor the products
If
that
they
you
want to
can
protect the
buy,
kids,
but
come on,
also
I dare
keep a
you.
tab on
Do
you
the no minors
in
online.
general. And the
That'll protect the
crazier
kids.
part is if you don't do what they
Way better
say,
than any of it.
they're gonna try and arrest you. You see, a few days ago, Coraline Anderson of Collective Shout tweeted this. The Online Hate
How you
Prevention
doing, Claudius?
Institute has been shocked by both the extreme nature and volume of the content we have seen attacking Collective Shout, the women who work there, and those who serve on its board of directors. The connect comes from accounts across multiple platforms. In some cases, new throwaway accounts have been created in an effort to anonymously post threats while trying to avoid any consequences. These
I mean,
are
death threat's not
serious cases
okay.
of cyber harassment, and there needs to be
But what
government
you're doing is
response,
also not okay.
including international cooperation between law enforcement agencies. Threats of are not, quote, free speech.
Oh yeah.
Read the full article here.
I forgot. We're not adults here. We have to censor the words that the kids are probably, no, not even probably, actually, I know for a fact, actually just using, not censoring at all. The words that they hear all the time anyway. And there's no way we could know what that word is, even though we can see it right here. Even though it's the one that applies here, even if it was censored out.
Online hate at collectiveshout.org. Hashtag cyber abuse.
Oh, you mean those little
Hashtag
sausage
online
thingies?
safety.
Do they have beans with them too?
I have no words how this has gone so far. The fact that these harpies in Australia are now trying to get international governments involved to arrest the most oppressed class of all, gamers, simply because we are literally not standing for the idiocy that these clowns are trying to push. These,
like I said, I'm really
Karens
thinking of doing an at and daring them to support it.
and dictate what is acceptable for you as a viewer or as a gamer in the first
Would that be
place to
inappropriate?
play. And simply because
Is that
you
just
don't
intrusive
like the
voices in my
product
head?
or it
I
goes
don't
against their
know.
morals, they want to go ahead and dictate to you when you fight back that you are harassing them online. Look, this might have worked back in like 2010 when Anita Sarkeesian was all over the place and they were always like, criticism is harassment, but it's not going to work now. People are not doing the same things that they were 10 to 15 years ago. That behavior is not going to be the same exact way because people are seeing through the actual veneer of what these clowns say online all the time. And what's even crazier about this is the fact that it's been shown and proven that Collective Shout has literally been sending themselves their own threats. If you don't believe me, look at this. Mr. Obvious on Twitter said this in July. Collective Shout,
What?
the group behind the Visa payment processors ban of Steam games, has been caught faking emails.
Oh
and
my
threats
god, that's
against
embarrassing
them,
for them.
including a fake email
And disgusting.
allwomen.com, which was later found to be a completely fake domain. The same group that defends cuties. So you know what I say? I say this. If you clowns think you're going to go around and arrest people for criticizing you, start with yourselves. Get in there, put the cuffs on your own wrist, and go right to jail. Because if you guys are walking around and literally sending fake threats to yourselves to try and garner sympathy in some weird way, and then turn it back around and say, well, if you criticize us, we're just going to get Interpol on you, work with other governments as well, and then arrest you locally, that's a massive issue. This is why they want your IDs, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want them to protect the kids. They
Of course
want your
not.
identification to see what kind of content you're watching in order
Yep.
to prove whether or not they can arrest you with that by using
Well,
like
that, and they
global
also want to
law.
make profit off of
Boy,
it. Data
where's
is
my
valuable.
tinfoil hat,
Can they
baby?
get you to
All
buy
of this,
products?
all of this,
What
because
products
you
are you going to
Karens on the
buy?
internet
You know?
didn't like a video game with a few boobas in it.
There's so many people
How do we
that
stop
have
this
an
so
interest
far?
in collecting
This is
data
where
for
things
so
are
many
going,
reasons.
and it gets worse because now it's not just about the video
So
games.
yeah, they're
Now
all
it's
very
about stuff
supportive
like
of this.
companies like Roblox actually having direct child endangerment, and not a single person,
It's just not warm
not
enough.
a single payment processor, no one, not even anyone in
I'm gonna
Collective
reheat it,
Shout
but I'm
has
still
said
listening.
anything recently about this massive issue. The fact that there are actual being caught in Roblox, and they're trying to bury this so quickly when Visa and MasterCard have
There have
all worked
been
with
a ton of
Roblox
pedos in
directly. And I
Roblox.
made a video about that earlier this week, and
In
nothing
fact,
has been done.
I
Collective
want
Shout
to
even
try to
privated
do
their
some
own
stuff about
account knowing
exposing
all
junk,
of this.
but I'm not gonna go with Roblox because everyone's already doing it.
How is
That's
anyone
fine,
even
that's
taking
safe.
these hags
That's
seriously?
handled.
Hopefully nobody is, but the scarier part is it's not about whether the internet takes them seriously, it's about whether the government takes them seriously. Because now there isn't a war being fought on one front, but on two instead. because the Gooner games were never the issue, and I told everyone about this earlier on.
That's
Now
such
the
a dumb
real problem
term.
is the government trying to encroach on what you can and cannot do to the own game that you purchased on Steam.
Yeah.
According to The Gamer, if you want to download adult mods on Nexus, you need to now show your ID. Last
Ugh.
month, the UK Online Safety Act came into
Nexus is
effect,
dead.
requiring companies to age-gate adult content. But the law isn't just having an impact
Agegate? You mean because of trying
platforms
to
like
protect
Wikipedia,
children,
Xbox,
which,
Spotify,
like
and
I
Reddit
said, a
are
joke.
all being pushed to introduce similar ID
We know what to
verification
actually do.
systems. Today, Nexus Mods joins their ranks, announcing that ID verification will be required in the UK for adult mods starting next week, saying, quote, as a UK-based company, we're legally required to protect children online
See,
and
the
ensure
protect the
adult
children.
content is only accessible to adults. Head of content Sarah Slug Girl stated, removing adult content entirely was never a viable option. So we're introducing an age verification system that will allow
So close
adults
and
to
yet
continue
so far.
accessing it. Do you see where this goes? Do you
It
see
was
the
never an
dark
option.
path this
It
leads
is
to?
never an option.
First, it was,
This
hey,
is
let's
not going to make a
pressure
difference.
payment processors in order to get games that we don't like, that we can't even play in Australia, removed from the storefront that is a global storefront in the first place. And by doing that, restricting what people can and cannot purchase. You can't get rid of all the adult content, but you can get rid of all the low-hanging fruit, giving them the edge to go ahead and push even further. Then go through and go to the government to have UK law try and push for age verification, thereby blocking access to any sort of adult content, because clearly you can't get rid of it, but you sure as hell can try and control people from accessing
Sorry,
it
I'm
in
just
the
gonna
first
look at
place by making them scared to give their personal information. And it's not just going to stop there. You see, first it's Nexus Mods, then it's going to be Steam itself. If Steam wants to operate in the United Kingdom, they're going to have to do something separate, either by, hey, if you're a UK citizen, give your photo identification to
Or,
Valve or a
I'm
separate
sorry,
company, so
but
that way they
refuse to
can
work
take
with
care of and
that.
monitor what you're doing.
So
And then if you do anything
in
illegal that
protest,
they
you know?
don't like, guess they're going to call Interpol up
I'm
one
sorry,
day
sometimes
and to
you want
collect
noodles
them
too.
shout the cops to your house to break down your door. Oh, did you buy a video game? Guess
Imagine creating a place that fights child trafficking. Eventually, you save enough that they decide to take over, and the world goes boom because they get lost in the power. Sure would suck. Fights child trafficking. Eventually, you save enough that they decide to take over. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Guess what, Bubby? Cuffs on, let's go! This entire thing is absolutely beyond any sort of reach that I have ever seen. The fact that a couple of Karens in Australia have kickstarted this entire ball rolling down the hill. At first, like I said, it was those bad games. Ooh, scary, spooky, not good. No. Then it goes all the way down to everything else. Getting into Wikipedia, getting into Xbox, getting into Reddit, getting into every other facet of the internet as well. And again, they're trying to dangle the actual idea of protecting the children in front of you. When everybody knows that is a flat-out lie across the board. The responsibility of protecting the child should rely on the parent themselves. Hell, when I was 12 or 13 and I got the internet in my house, you can damn well bet sure we did the absolute worst thing possible. Jump into a random-ass America Online chat room and type, ASL, yeah, let me know how old you are, what gender you are, and where you're located, baby. Believe me, as an elder emo, or a millennial, by the way, my bones creak when I stand up. I know the trappings and problems of what the internet.
This is why back when I did allow minors in my, like, group stuff, like my therapy or my Discord, all that stuff, back when I allowed minors in my content, I would tell them privately, as soon as I found out, do not tell people your age. You make yourself vulnerable. I don't even like hearing your age. Now I prefer, of course, like, okay, I prefer to know because I want to make sure that I'm aware and that they're safe. But also, it's not like I'm going to tag them. I'm not going to say these are minors. Do not touch them because that's waiting for problems. Yeah, you don't tell people how old you are. It's it's risky,
it has to
especially if you're a
offer.
minor.
Believe me, we lived through all of that shit directly. But to sit here and pretend like I can use government intervention and even online force or trying to go through and restrict what other people cannot legally purchase, because that is legally purchasable content, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, simply because I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it, is a bullshit move to do in the first place. I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be able to.
Actually, I've seen some fictional media, games, books, whatever the heck have you, being straight up banned, and it doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't. I think that anything should be able to be created, and people can choose whether to consume it or not, and conversation can be had about it and everything, but I don't believe people should infringe each other's rights to create stuff. Nobody's getting hurt, you know? Um, some can do all the good they can, but be sure to do it right. I don't know, I saw something similar on my scrolling earlier. Hmm? What do you mean?
Exert what I morally feel onto a company to then have them exert my morality onto others simply because I write a couple of mean emails and then have an entire world government try to dictate that as well. The
Hmm.
article continues by saying this: while Nexus assures that any data you share will, quote, never leave your device
They
and is only being
promise.
used for verification, many are concerned about handing over sensitive information to private
Well,
companies.
yeah.
This has sparked a variety of creative methods to bypass these age gates, like
Mhm.
using McLovin's ID from Superbad.
Because as long as a method for like age verification exists, there's gonna be people who are finding ways around it. There are going to be minors that figure it out because they're smart and they want to get through, you know? There's lots of smart minors out there making all sorts of crazy things. And then there's also going to be pedophiles that are going to be trying to get that information out so they can contact more minors. Yeah, no. Age gating doesn't work.
Photos of Prime Minister Keir Starmer and even Norman Reedus manipulating the Death Stranding 2 photo mode. Others have turned to VPNs,
Hot,
so
hot,
much
hot noodles.
so that Children's Commissioner Rachel D'Souza has urged
They're
the
so good,
government
though.
to block under 18s from using them. This has proven as a controversial as the child.
Others have turned to VPN so much so that Children's Commissioner has urged the government to block under 18s from using. Oh, okay, but the problem is, how are you going to block them if how are you going to know they're under 18? How are you going to know you're going to age verify? Oh, they're going to break through that? Oh, so it's useless.
Safety Act itself, with many arguing that it would legislate against the entire cybersecurity industry, while others warned that schools use VPNs
It would go against
for
all of
security
cybersecurity.
reasons
Thank
and would
you.
get caught in the crossfire. You know what's crazy about the entire VPN thing in ID2? Somebody actually created an AI that would literally make photo IDs that were incredibly
Well, of course.
realistic with a hand holding the ID.
You know, you don't even need AI, by the way. Everyone's like, oh, AI can do this, AI can do that. Photoshop. Photoshop does exist and has existed for a long time. Yeah.
Itself of every single UK
Surprising.
Parliament member. Therefore, you get to use their name and their fake ID to bypass the ID verification system. Honestly,
That's
it's
nice.
incredibly
Good job,
amazing.
good job.
Go ahead, try it yourselves, and then when you do, go
Hilarious.
to every single website that you know that they're not going to want to go to. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, listen. Yeah, look. Go and jump into Roblox, by the way.
Ooh. No, 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 no.
Go on Steam and buy Coffin of Andy and
His
Layla.
humor
Go
is
ahead and
dark, but it's funny.
Hey, no, look, these old hags are literally fighting a battle they're not going to win. And the problem
I hope
is they're
not.
only trying to push everything through and control the actual state of video games.
Only people that
itself,
profit from it
trying to
are doing
control
this,
Steam,
or people
trying
that
to control
have not looked into
itch.io,
anything.
and now trying to control mods simply by saying, we got to protect the kids, my boys, even though every single time you've seen it, and even when you were younger, I can guarantee it, as much as your parents tried to protect you from all the horrors in the actual world, you found out some way around it, didn't
Oh
you?
yeah.
Everybody did. So this entire
You know why I was able to find out all this stuff, all the horrible things, have all the problems, well, not all the problems I have now, but a lot of the problems I have now? The internet. Growing up on the internet. Yeah, it makes it real easy.
insane nanny state of companies trying to figure out whether or not you're 18 or not is kind of concerning too, because what they're doing is they're collecting data from minors.
Hmm.
When you put it like that, that's even more concerning now, isn't it? And the funnier part is when the actual government gets called out on it, you'd be surprised what they actually have to say. Now, here's what sucks. I wasn't able to show you guys the entire video, mostly because it got copyright claimed on YouTube. But here's, in fact, what happened. According to Stephen on Twitter, the Australian government just admitted what we all knew. To ban under 16s, everyone will have to upload their ID. The government will be able to track any X or Facebook post. No VPN will save you. Press heart if you don't want the UK-type evil dictatorship. That is absolutely absurd, the fact that this is actually happening. And in that clip, what happened was, if you want to find it on Twitter, because I couldn't post it here,
I do.
the guy literally asks, hey, if you're trying to verify if someone is of age to see a certain kind of content, that means you have to aggregate all the other IDs from everybody else in the planet who wants to see that content. Is that not how that works? And they're like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're not trying to do that at all, I swear. And the guy's like, no. If you're trying to verify whether someone's 18 or not, you have to have everybody's ID, not just some people's ID, because people that are 18 that want to see that content, they got to verify that. And if someone's a minor and they give you their ID...
Oh, also, let me paint a little picture. Let's imagine that you only get a little... I'm going to use this as an example. It's nothing... I know it's not true, but you only get a little blue check mark if you're verified of your age, right? A verified adult. So who are the pedos going to go after? Really easily everybody that doesn't have a little blue check mark? Everybody that's not tagged to be a minor? It's almost like tagging or not tagging is dangerous.
That means you can deny that. So you have to have everyone's ID to do that. Is that not what you're doing? And they're like, oh, what we're trying to do is, and they're trying to use like word salad to get around it. The UK is not trying to assess whether or not you're an adult and whether or not you can buy the...
It's hard to hear the... Oh, I'm sorry. I highly recommend watching it. I don't want to rewind in case people did hear some of it pretty well. Oops. But I am going to go ahead and turn it up. I'm so sorry.
What they're trying to do is to collect all the data and determine what you're doing online. And then, like the collective sound Karens, use Interpol and every other major online government security agency to go through and have you arrested by working with local law enforcement. This isn't about protecting the kids. This is about creating a full-on nanny state over control. And all of this started because of games on Steam that old hags didn't like. Oh,
no. That's where you're wrong. You're right on everything else. But all of this started because people want to know all of your data. Because people want to censor and they want to market and they want to profit from this. All of this originated from profit, not from Karens in Australia or whatever the heck people are saying. This originated because of straight up greed, putting minors at risk for profit.
You know that meme? You know that little meme right there where you got that one guy with the one little domino being like, a bunch of hags in Australia didn't like a couple of on Steam and they flicked that sumbitch.
Hi,
and it goes
how you doing?
All the way up to the biggest domino of all, and it's just inability to actually do anything and having an entire governmental world.
Feel free to talk to me, by the way. I like the open conversation. Domino effect,
bro,
exactly.
And the fact
Domino
that these
effect.
companies and the fact that other websites like Nexus, like Steam potentially,
I think it's only
like so many
because
others,
here's the sad thing. I feel like the only reason we're actually trying to even talk about the age verification stuff is because of the video games. I love video games. I do. I'm a streamer, and not just therapy VTuber streamer. I play games, obviously. But I wanted to do videos about this so much longer ago, but I also wanted to really do introspection about what I thought and what I felt. I wanted to bounce in my head back and forth, to have inner debates about, would this be safer? Would this be okay, before I said anything, before I did anything. So I finally got to the point where I'm like, no, I'm sure. I want to do this.
We'll have to have some sort of age verification ID for people in the UK, and at some point it's going to happen.
Oh, actually, this is the first time I've ever been in here. It's admittedly not a ton of people, sadly, but thankfully I'm a small streamer anyway, and this is, I think, the most appropriate category for this. And I really hope that being in a political category, that people will be more inclined to communicate about it and to share information with other people about it, to be active about it. I really hope that there's more people with some fire in this category, because we need that.
Happen where it's going to cross the
Make
pond to even
controllers,
the
mouses, and
US and
keyboards
so
covered
many
in those
other countries,
fingerprint
because
scanners like
these
phones in the
idiots
unlock
are
thingy,
not trying
constant
to protect
verification, hard to
kids.
bypass.
They're trying to
Whoa.
collect data.
Don't give
They're
them
trying to get
ideas,
your
Claudia.
ID. They're trying to monitor what you do online. They're trying to apply a real identification to your online persona. They're removing all anonymity from the internet. And the craziest
And
part of all,
I've heard people say anonymity is dangerous and that we shouldn't have that. And that's what enables groomers. That's what enables all this stuff. No, anonymity is how people are able to ask questions they're not comfortable with attaching to their whole everything, you know, about health, about their feelings, about their views. It's how, without anonymity, it's very harmful to people, I truly believe. People should be able to express themselves. People should be able to, and not only all these things about trying to make sure about censorship and about embarrassment and all, doxing. There is a very, very likely possibility that if this gets bigger, and I'm scared, I'll be honest, I am terrified. If this gets bigger, it could get enough attention to where there are people giving me death threats. There might be people trying to dox me. I like to think that I've done the best I can, but the thing that gives me any peace of mind on that one is that I hope that there's going to be so many people in here that doxing me, that hurting me, isn't going to be enough, that it's not going to be worth their while, that there's going to be so many people that this is going to be just a ball that keeps rolling and rolling, and that there will be no one target for them to take out. I'd be adult enough. Thank you, Claudius.
all, they're going to try and control what games you can and cannot buy on Steam. They're going to try and control what mods you can and cannot install from the games you bought on Steam. And they're going to do whatever they can to do it, whether it's by inciting payment processors, by having those games removed, even though they're using those really vague rules like we talked about, or at the same time, they're going to go through and do it via governmental agencies. It's just so absurd. This needs to end. This needs to end. I don't know why all of a sudden, every single time that this happens, it's all in the same circle. All the hags in Australia, all the...
He keeps going back to that. I think he's just a little too focused on just that. I get why he's mad. I do. I really do. As a gamer, I get it. But it's so much more than that. Anonymity wasn't triggering for most of the world's history. In the old age, men and women could buy things from the local markets while wearing a hooded robe. Yes, and I believe in that. Honestly, I like face masks. I mean, I know people tried to make it into a political statement one way or another, but I like face masks. I like the anonymity. I like the not being able to be as open. Open's not even the right word. I don't have to worry as much about creepy people taking pictures of me. I don't have to worry about people trying to use my face data to try and tell my mom I've been kidnapped with some kind of AI video. Like, it's safer. It's easier. And yes, I'm highly antisocial. People that want to be anonymous, people that want to have their privacy, they shouldn't be treated like they're criminals up to something. Nobody had the mindset of, I need to see your face.
The clowns in the UK, they're all doing it at the same time. It's almost as if the entire thing was coordinated, if you ask me. Uh-oh.
There have been some people talking about that. That is interesting.
Where's my tinfoil hat, baby? Time to put it on. But of course,
I don't know if
things
I'm
always
tinfoil
tend
hat
to
ready.
get
I
worse,
don't
if
know.
you could even
We'll
believe it.
talk.
Chibi Reviews on Twitter posted this. Important news, PayPal is apparently suspending accounts permanently if they purchase any content on itch.io with their
Ooh.
service, according to this Reddit post. Sharing this because it's super important for anyone to know as soon
That
as
is just
possible.
icky.
Edit, reminder, this is
I hope
unconfirmed
itch.io
but
takes
being
legal
tested.
action, because this is like PayPal trying to discourage them from buying their products. That's gotta be illegal, right? I think they have some kind of legal standing here, right? I don't know.
So not only is the rumor going around that PayPal is just basically stopping your entire account and debanking you if you purchase anything on itch.io, what's going to happen next is Visa and MasterCard going to come knocking on my door with Interpol and the local police because I bought a copy of my personal trainer's A Food and Eye and watches me squat ass to grass. Is that what it is? Is that what's going to
Okay.
happen now? I can't even enjoy myself on the weekends after a long week of getting in the wage cage. This is what I have to
The
deal
wage
with because
cage,
of these
nice.
idiotic, moronic clowns trying to be like the Maud Flanders of the entire world. Will somebody please think of the children? Oh. This is what we're dealing with now. God, getting debanked for buying a game on a platform like itch.io, and if this is true, potentially Steam in the future, is going to be the most insane thing possible. So, not only will they be monitoring your transactions, monitoring your online activity.
On the bright side, it does seem like Steam is going to be trying to locate or make or something, I don't know, black magic up their own payment processor. So that's great.
By having your actual ID to do
Oh, use aluminum, it blocks signals. Tinfoil actually amplifies signals.
anything online. They know who you are. They
Interesting.
know where
Okay,
you live,
okay. Gotta
they
get the
know what
soda
you
cans
buy,
ready then.
They know what you play, and you can't use a VPN to go around it. So guess what? Now we're living in a cyberpunk dystopia. Look, if I'm gonna live in a pod, eat bugs, and drink milk from a can, then I might as well just have a cool duster and be able to walk in the rain with all the neon lights. Give me that at least. But of course, it gets even worse because Chibi also tweeted this. Breaking news! There's reports that Google search is starting to force age verification if YouTube asks you to verify. This suggests if YouTube flags you, your entire Google account is flagged. Did some digging and there's an actual article on it. Has this happened?
I saw somewhere actually that accounts that are over 18 years old, I don't mean the people, I mean the accounts were created over 18 years ago. They're getting flagged of maybe being underage. It's because it's not about the protecting people, protecting children. It is not about your age, and it's just not. They don't care if your account is over 18. They want your ID. They want your information. They want the control, the profit. What else was I gonna say? Was that all? I think that's all.
To anyone here? Brother, we're cooked. We're absolutely cooked. I just...
Yeah, PayPal has been a sunken ship for years now. Honestly, sounds like it. They also had issues with doxing streamers and stuff before, so not a good look. They've been hand in hand with centralized power. As to your question of its legality, well, they probably own a judge or two. Oof. I hate that. I hate that that's a thing that can happen. Happily sighs, I can listen to your all day and be around. Thank you.
All of this because a couple of games
Like
on
I said,
Steam got a...
I'm sorry I keep pausing. Please, please, if you can send this to anybody, my video, my streams about this, don't worry about the video game stuff. I don't think it's for everybody, obviously. But the talks about the need to address this issue, please try to share it with everyone you can. I really want this to go viral. I want it to be at the point where anyone that says, think of the children, that somebody out there says, so are you willing to get minors off the internet to protect the children? Or if not, why? What is your motive? If it's to protect the children, then do it.
A
Yeah.
few Karens in Australia mad. Now they're gonna flag your entire Google account if that's the case.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh God, I just can't. I just can't. I really can't, bro. This is.
Thank you very
First,
much. I
they
really
come for the
appreciate it.
Gooner games on Steam and itch.io.
I'm really
Then they
hoping we
go
can make a
after
difference.
the mods on Nexus. Pretty soon, you can't use a VPN
I'm
unless you
done
are
waiting for
age
somebody else to.
verified. Then they want to age verify you across the entire internet for everything you do. And then, if you don't like it, they'll debank you and remove all your ability to actually process any payments because you bought a naughty game on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Remember all the people trying to criticize me and call me a degenerate because I defended Gooner games on the Steam platform and itch.io?
Oh, I also want to make my stance very clear right now. Even if all of this stuff about age gating, taking people's data, demanding it, and all that, even if all of that goes away, absolute win for sure. Love it. But I'm still going to be worried about the minors online. And I'm still going to be making content about getting them offline for their safety because that is a separate issue and both are important.
I guess that's what vindication tastes like. But you know what? It's not all black-pilled and bad things coming because President Trump did sign a fair banking executive order. And there is also the Fair Banking Act going into Congress as well. So there are going to be a couple of things that could potentially stop this from happening in the United States. Hopefully, though, this kind of thing gets retracted and the UK government turns to stop doing this as well, and the Australian hags basically just disappear altogether because clearly they know they're not getting the right publicity that they should be, and it's actually not working in their favor at all. So you know what? Keep applying the pressure. Keep doing the right thing. Reach out to your local senators and congressmen and let them know about the Fair Banking Act that should be passed so that way people are protected and to stop the United Kingdom from overreaching across the entire world to have a direct...
I do want to say, because I am me, I am still suspicious of the Fair Banking Act. I need to find out more about it. I want to make sure that there's not a possibility of all this crazy being... Okay, I'm gonna tinfoil hat a little bit here. Just bear with me. Think about the possibilities. Discount nothing. If somebody wanted to push for something to go through and they used events in order to push it through, you know? If I see a lot of people talking about the Fair Banking Act, and I don't really know enough about it, like I said, completely neutral, but I think it's worth being apprehensive? Aware? I don't know. That there are people who, thank you, Pando, for all your serious talk, who could try to push things through by using situations and feelings and fear, saying something like, if you really want to make sure this doesn't happen, then we have to pass this. Oh, by the way, passing this also passes this other stuff. Like, I just want to be really sure that we're not jumping out of one problem and into another.
Nanny state on what you can and cannot do and what you can and cannot buy on a simple gaming platform known as Steam and itch.io, and even having a couple of mods for Stellar Blade. I've got a couple here and there, so trust me, we don't want those to go away. But with all that being said, if you like this kind of content, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 90,000 subs, and I'm doing more gaming news, more hot takes, more coverage on this entire fiasco happening on the Steam platform, as well as fanboy content and live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Trust me, you don't want to miss those. If you want Discord access or most during live...
Okay, so that is that. I wanted to do this one as well.
This has been a lot. I talked about this the other day, and it's apparently getting pretty serious. The Roblox situation has now attracted the attention of Chris Hansen, always a really, really good person to have associated with your company. And things are looking pretty bad for him.
Roblox is a place where we filter
I will be honest, I don't always
by the way,
agree with
Roblox has
this
been
guy,
banned in China
but
and Qatar in the last week. China banned Roblox.
The
This is a very
things
big
that are
deal.
said in here, because I did already watch this, or at least skim this, I wanted to talk about and address some things.
I want to start off by saying that we all want to keep Roblox safe. We share this
Oh, yeah.
with you, and we know that there's members of our community who feel strongly about that too. And you know
What you want to do is keep profits safe.
dialogue about how to keep Roblox safer.
I want to highlight we have always had safety as one of our top
This is a good video.
and we're not waiting for the law or legislation. We've innovated with agents to make
They're not waiting for the law.
because we want to keep
Well, that part's true. They just don't do anything.
This whole situation is kind of crazy.
Everybody go donate to this boy Schlep.
This is probably the
Yeah.
worst decision
me.
this company has ever made.
Hashtag free Schlep on God. Yeah, they actually need Schlep.
It's actually crazy how big of a fuck up this was. Like, this is probably the biggest backfire of, like, suppressing a content creator for doing something that's inconvenient for a brand that I've probably ever seen. It's massive.
Yikes.
Schlep the best.
Roblox, you need to do
Hmm?
something. There's
Oh,
gotta
you
be
can't
something.
find the video? Hold
Nobody
on.
at Roblox.
Let me grab it for you. There we go. Wait, why does it say... Is that the right link? Or is that my channel? No, it is. It is. Okay. Actually, let's see if we have any new comments on there real fast. Nope, doesn't look like it. Nope, nothing. And some people liked the posts, but I think that's everything. Okay. Yep. Let's get back to this.
Roblox listens to us.
Thank
I'm
you.
Frustrated, man. I'm frustrated.
Why should we support a platform that is taking steps to prevent predators from getting caught?
Kind of a good question.
Roblox has
Mhm.
just lost $12 billion.
Exactly. Anywhere that's not going to
What the fuck?
try to protect
damn.
kids, try and protect their users, the adults too.
And that's only for now.
Why would you support them?
Oh my god.
In market value following their
Wow.
response to
Karma.
their cease and desist letter against me. Just
And
for
honestly, they
context,
deserve
I'm
even
someone
worse.